Hello there, people of the internet. So, I think I have decided on my hunting rifle for this particular deer season. We're coming up on deer season. By the time this video goes up, it's probably going to be either in deer season or maybe even past it. If this video even goes up, half the videos I make I don't put up because I'm like, that's a nonsensical topic that no one's ever going to want to listen to. I have a lot of options for hunting rifles. A bunch of different things that I could pick. And to be honest, I would like to pick some of these rifles in opposition to what it is that I actually picked. But what I actually picked, I think, is going to be the best option for what it is I'm actually doing. So I am going after deer this year, like I do every year. Most of the time, I actually end up going after, like, boar and pig. But I still try to go at least on one, maybe two deer hunts, like dedicated deer hunts a year, whenever hunting season comes around. And I got a bunch of different options here, but there's certain limitations with this particular place that I'm going. I'm going to a new place, and it's a big open field. Like, we're talking hundreds of yards level of open field. So normally, I'd go out with, I don't know, insert your choice of rifle here, insert my choice of rifle here, and I'd be using iron sights because I prefer iron sights opposed to a scope. Unfortunately, my eyesight is not good, and iron sights, I wouldn't feel comfortable shooting past 100 yards. And in this particular case, open field, we're gonna be looking at things past 100 yards. So I kind of gotta pick a rifle and cartridge based off of that. I'd say the farthest I'd probably feel comfortable shooting is 400 yards, but the open field I'm going to has distances that are greater than that. So what I'm thinking, I was leaning towards my AK just because I have a scope for it, but AK-47s, unless they're like properly tuned, they really are not the most accurate of rifles. You can probably tune your AK to get it to be pretty gosh darn accurate with 7.62 by 39, but this one is just not one of those. This is a off-the-shelf, you know, I'm going to war style of AK-47 in terms of accuracy. I'd bet it's probably a 4 to 6 MOA gun with good ammo. You throw in the tool ammo with inconsistent powder charges and bullets that are made of like a really hard alloy that really is hell on the rifling. You're gonna end up having some accuracy issues. I just don't feel comfortable in that AK's accuracy, especially at the distances that I might be shooting at. People yell at me because I say especially. Get over it. If that's your biggest concern in life, how people pronounce things, then you're living one hell of a sheltered life. So I also thought about, where is it? I have a Ruger Mini 14 right here. I can't take this on a deer hunt because we need 30 caliber or greater bullets going downrange for deer. I'm not sure if that's just a Florida thing, but that's definitely a thing with where I'm going. So I can't use 223, but I can use this on pig and boar, and I'm probably going to use this on pig and boar this year. 223, this right here, I believe this one has a 1 in 10 twist. I typically use the 55 grain VMAX rounds, and this runs pretty gosh darn good. But since I am going to an open field, this right here is not what I'm picking. Not only because of the caliber issue, but because it too is iron sights, although it is an aperture sight. What I ultimately decided to go with, I got my TOZ 122. This is a Russian sporting rifle chambered in .308. This is a stupidly accurate rifle. This is one of the only guns I have where I can set a golf ball at 100 yards and shoot it consistently. I have to sight this thing in. I had it sighted in for 180 grain bullets whenever I took it hunting like 2 or 3 years ago, and I don't believe that I've shot it since. So I'm willing to bet that the zero's probably been knocked off. I'm betting it's close, but the zero's been knocked off, and this year I'm using 150 grain bullets as opposed to the 180 grain. The reason why I'm using 150 grain is because deer don't get very big here. Whenever I was taking this thing boar hunting, the boar get pretty big here, so heavier bullet. Now, the reason why I don't go with anything heavier than 180 grain, I could bump it up to some heavier projectiles, but I'm not going to. This right here, this rifle has a 1 in 14 twist. Normally with 308 rifles, you have a 1 in 10 twist, like that's about your average, and that'll stabilize basically all of your 308 projectiles. But this one has a 1 in 14 twist, and with that being the case, it'll stabilize lighter weight bullets better than heavier weight bullets. My Oviedo Mauser, which I do not see anywhere, it's a Spanish Mauser. It also has a 1 in 14 twist barrel. And I shoved 200 grain bullets in that thing and got keyholes through it. I'm pretty sure that the limits on the 1 in 14 twist in terms of legitimate stabilization without tumbling is going to be 180 grain, maybe 185, somewhere in that ballpark. So there is a limitation to the bullet weight that you can shoot with these. But 150 grain, this should be able to handle it no problem. I have absolutely zero doubts that this rifle is going to be accurate enough to be able to handle the things at the distances that I need to handle. So this is my choice simply because it has a scope. I do have other scoped rifles as well, but this one definitely has the best scope. I think it's got the best mounting system on it, and it's definitely the most accurate of the rifles. I thought about using, I have a Winchester Model 70 in 270. I thought about using that, but the previous owner that I had got it from, it's currently behind those boxes. I don't feel like grabbing that. The previous owner that I had gotten it from, they use a Bushnell scope and like the cheapest Amazon mounting rings possible. And I do not feel comfortable with that thing holding a 0. These right here are factory tool ammo mounting rings, scope rings that came with the rifle itself. This is a Tula rifle. And these right here are the factory mounting rings that came with it. They're not aftermarkets or anything like that, which is why I feel so comfortable at this thing holding 0. As a matter of fact, I mean, I've taken this thing out and shot it plenty of times, and it's retained 0 every time. I took the scope off, and that is why I got to go out and re-zero it, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be pretty much right on point. So just because of where I'm going, what I'm doing, and what I'm hunting, I got to say that right there is probably going to be my choice. This particular hunt that I'm going on, oh, this is not what I'm looking for. Here we go. I found what I was looking for. So this particular hunt, I am using bullets that are, where was I? I was in the middle of a sentence and then I got interrupted by something. This hunting season, I'm using bullets that are a 150 grain, but I think that I'm going to try using these. Like, I'm using like standard soft point 150 grain. These right here are a 180 grain SST. This has the polymer tip on it. I don't know if I can show you guys the brand, but I'm sure you guys can figure out what this is. But I've heard really good things about these particular bullets. So I'm going to try these to the rifle and see how well it stabilizes. The 180 grain bullets that I use are a little bit shorter than these right here. And I've tried same bullet weight with different length bullets in various rifles with different twist rates. And a twist rate that is supposed to stabilize, you know, a specific weight bullet does stabilize this brand's bullet, but it won't stabilize that brand's bullet. And that brand's bullet is a little bit longer because I guess the lead is less dense on the inside, or maybe there's more copper involved, or maybe something else is going on. Bottom line, I haven't actually tested these through the rifle, otherwise I probably would be using these for this particular upcoming hunting season, but ultimately, I gotta test these through my particular rifle just to see if they're going to stabilize. I'm sure with a 1 in 10 twist, these would have absolutely no problem, but with a 1 in 14, 180 grain, longer bullet than than what I'm used to seeing, I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and say that needs further testing. So 150 grain it is. That is the bullet weight that I have. That is the bullet weight that I decided to load with, especially because this particular setup with the particular distances I'm shooting at and the particular game that I'm going after, I feel like it's just a really good balance between everything. So I'm sure that other people have their own particular rifles that they go after, but I think a bolt-action 308 rifle is going to serve me well for this hunting season, just because it's got this scope on it. It's a Tasco scope, not exactly the greatest of scopes, but you know what? It has at least served me well. So thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Worst case scenario, if I decide that this scope is just not working for me, I can always take the scope off. And the rifle has iron sights, and I can just use those. I won't be able to shoot nearly as far, but I can just use those. So thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below is a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. I really would like to take my M16 inspired build here out on a hunt. I definitely have to do like pig and boar with this thing, but I could. Perhaps I'll do that this year at some point. Take this out for a pig and boar hunt. This particular rifle is stupidly accurate with 55 grain bullets. I believe it's a 1 in 7 twist. I never actually tested it. The PSA upper on this thing is a retro upper. I'm just not sure what the twist rate is. It's either going to be a 1 in 7 or a 1 in 12. I've fired 62 grain bullets through this thing and it stabilizes just fine, so I'm thinking a 1 in 7 twist. So this particular one, I don't know why it's so accurate with 55 grain bullets in comparison to my other rifles, but it is. Like, I ran competitions with that thing and got sub-MOA accuracy through it. It's a great rifle. It really is. It really is. And there's a Picatinny rail mount on it, so I can mount a scope to it if I feel like. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.